We're gonna start with the boost tubing. This is probably the hardest part of the whole thing because of how inconvenient it is to actually feed this tube through a grommet, through your firewall, and into the engine on the other side. In order to do that, the best thing that I've found is either to use a wire hanger or like a long, skinny wooden stick that won't break. And you're gonna wanna take an X-Acto knife. You can actually take a little incision and run that through the grommet, and you'll have a little tiny hole where you can then feed the boost tubing through that hole and into the engine bay. Before you do that, you are gonna wanna remove your battery so you can get access to that area. All right, so this is directly underneath the fuse box on the inside. Essentially, we have the boost tubing here. I've already ran it through to make sure that it was gonna work. As you can see right there, the tube is going through that grommet. I put an X-Acto knife in that little guy, made a little slit, and just fed the tube right through, and I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. This is the boost tap. I found a wooden stick to run it through, just taped it on, which allowed me to go right through the grommet and fish the tube all the way through. And before we figure out exactly where we're gonna run it, I'm just gonna take off the engine cover. So the first thing we're gonna do is take off this wire. In order to do that, you're gonna push this tab back, and then you can actually push on it a little bit. It'll release here, and then you should be able to just pull it right off. Step one done. So this screw here is a T20. And now there's two clamps right here that are holding this whole thing down. You wanna separate them like that. You're gonna wanna almost use pressure here to lift up, and then these two pull out. Then once you pass that threshold, it just comes right off. You're not gonna wanna actually touch this, so keep this safe for now. Now how this is gonna work is this is the piece that's gonna go first. This is gonna go down into this, and your tube is gonna be coming out of this guy here. So what you're gonna wanna do is screw him on. And there is an O-ring right there. They do give you two. There's already one on here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that on. See how these now connect straight down like this. There is an O-ring on here when you use the existing O-ring. Push that down into place. Nice and flush all the way around. Looks great. So now, you're just gonna wanna push this straight down in. Make sure it lines up with that screw hole in the back. And it should just fit. So they give you the supplied screw. You're gonna need a 4mm Allen key, and you do wanna be careful because the map sensor is plastic. That's not going anywhere. Perfect. So we'll go ahead and snap this back on, slide that thing back down. That's attached. All right, so I went ahead and connected the boost tap tubing to that output, and then I am gonna run it underneath the intake hose and then around the battery, and it should sit flush against the CPU right there. All right, so we got the engine cover on, we got the battery back installed, we got the tube running from here, again, underneath the intake and around the battery over here, and it just tucks nicely right in there. Looks pretty clean, out of everything's way. Now right off the bat, you are gonna get a bunch of error codes on your car because you did remove the battery and put it back in. As you drive, those codes will go away, assuming you did everything correctly. So currently we're still in Boost Digital. Let's see if we can access the Boost Analog. And we're gonna configure. Go to Boost D and go to Boost. All right, now we're in Boost A mode. And it looks like it's working. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and install back my panels and we'll be good to go.